What's up, everybody? Wanted to hop on here, do a recap of an oil trade that I actually lost on today. It was actually a really easy short, and I let my emotions and the data get to me. I didn't wait for candle closes, and I basically went long right into supply like an idiot. So yeah, so let's get into it. This is the start of the day of oil. So we zoom out a little bit. Oil's kind of been in this massive downtrend for a long time. We did have this key level down here at 87. We had kind of bounced at it before. We bounced one, two, three times. Then we broke it and we came back up right into it. So we were opening the day literally right at this key level. We did have this 3 hour supply. It looks like 4 hour too. But this was a 3 hour supply right here. Perfect zone, really nice basing candle followed by a huge drop, and we got some follow through on the next candle. So this was a great zone to look to take a trade. And we also had, I actually did have this marked out as well. We kind of had this downtrend line that's going to possibly act as resistance. God, I feel so bad that I screwed this trade up, but I'll show you guys what I did and what I should have done, because this should have been a super easy trade. And the reason I was trading oil this morning was because the oil report an hour after the stock market opens comes out every Wednesday, usually causes some volatility in the oil market. So depending on the current stock, whether it's up or down, usually causes oil to react. So this was the opening candle. Oil opens, at least for me, at 7 a.m. I was not looking to trade it unless it got in a zone, or I was really waiting for the report to come out because that causes the most volatility. So we kind of chopped around a little bit. This is 7:30, so got about an hour till. I was just kind of watching. It was just hanging out at this zone, not really doing much. And then we started to push up a little bit on volume. Um, the news hadn't broke yet, so I really wasn't looking to trade this. We also weren't in the zone, so there's really no point. And then we got this 8:15 candle. This was the candle right before the news report dropped. We did reject this trend line a little bit, but we weren't in a zone, so I wasn't interested in taking a trade. And then when the news did drop, this next candle gapped up and immediately started running up. And instead of waiting for the candle close, what I did was I looked at the numbers and I traded the numbers. They were anticipating 1 million barrels of extra inventory, and there was actually a shortage of 7 million. So the supply went down. So I'm thinking, okay, supply is down, demand goes up, we go up. So I was trading based off an assumption and based off data, not the actual charts, and that is where I went wrong. So I ended up going long, like right above this candle, and my trade really did not work out. This was the next candle that hit. This was the next 15-minute candle. If you look at that volume, you look at us rejecting the 3 hour zone, rejecting this trend line. This is also something to look for too, is a lot of times zones are on the opposite sides of trend lines. So when trend lines fake out and they run up, it looks like they broke the trend line. You're like, okay, this is great. Now we're going to go, we're going to keep on going up. They end up hitting that zone on the opposite side and reject really hard. And so I got trapped long like a dummy. I feel really dumb for this trade, but yeah, I got trapped long, but this was an easy short. Everything was pointing to short. We hit a zone, we broke a trend line and got rejected and came back in. So what you should have done was take this short. Typically, I have a stop of about 50 to 60 cents on trades. So that would have, if I would have entered at the close of this candle, that would have been my 60-cent stop. and I would have targeted, this bottom range right here. I probably would have scaled some here at 87 just because that was prior resistance and support, but that's a 1.5 to 1 trade, and then probably let my runners, maybe go down here. So should have gotten short there. As you can see, oil respects supply and demand as well. Next candle hit, really didn't do anything. It was just an inside bar. And at this point too, this was the 30-minute chart. So even the 30-minute chart had insane volume. Look at the volume. You've never, I don't even know the last time we had volume that high. So I should have flipped on that. But since I was already long, I was going to let my stop hit. And so I let the trade play out, even though I saw it right away, and I was like, "This is dumb." So I probably should have closed it, knowing that I entered prior to the candle close. I did not do that, so I did break a rule today and paid the price for it. But if you were smart about it, you got short here. Next 15-minute candle dropped almost $1, so that's $1,000 per contract. I would have scaled a little bit there because we did hit support and resistance level, and we did have the volume spike. So perfect area to scale some out, move the rest of your stop to break even, and see what else we get. Next candle came up, but volume was lower, and this candle made a lower low. Usually when volume is lower and the candle makes a lower low and makes a new low of the trend with volume lower, doesn't signal a reversal, it just signals a flag. Next candle, big drop down, would have hit our target. Since this candle is pretty extended to the downside and we're getting into this area where we had previously wicked at a ton earlier in the morning, definitely would have scaled out there. I only usually trade 2 to 3 oil contracts at a time, so if I scaled one here or two there and had one runner, I would have been all out here. But fumbled that one big time, so a little disappointed in myself. Volume was lower here, and then we started to come back up. So if you weren't fully out down here, I think this would have been your sign to get fully out of the trade just because volume is coming in and now we're making higher highs and we're pushing back up. Oil did end up coming back, but at that point I had taken my trade, I lost, and we weren't in a zone that I could see, so there was really no trade for me after that. So did take a loss today. Sucks because that was a very easy trade to take if you were patient. So something that I struggle with a little bit is waiting for the 15-minute candle closes. Lots of times when you see these huge spikes on the 15-minute, because at like one point, this candle right here was fully green. Like this was over $1 move in less than 15 minutes on oil. And so sometimes my emotions can definitely get the better of me. I'm not perfect. So one thing I am trying to work on is just wait for those candle closes and just let the trade play out. So that was the main trade I took. I did try to trade FOMC too for ES. I got long a little under 4,300. And this damn thing too also rejected. There's a 4-hour zone here that rejected. But there wasn't really a volume spike at the top. It was kind of like not something that I look for. Although I would have, or you could have seen that this broke the high of the previous candle and the resistance here and then got rejected. So even though the volume wasn't higher on that, it was still high and you could have shorted it. But FOMC was kind of a dud earlier today. So took a loss today. It happens. It wasn't a big loss. Kept my stop losses, so lost a few thousand. But that's pretty typical of taking a couple losing trades. So, but this was the oil trade of the day. I hope some of you guys caught it because it definitely paid really well. If you got your entry here around 88, could have got down to at least 86.50. So $1.50 per contract would have been killer. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll get them tomorrow. Have a good night.